All right, so today we're going to talk about forms. Forms are namely something that all the users use for inquiry forms on their website. I'm going to go through how to customize them, where they are, what you can use them for, all kinds of stuff like that. So we'll get right to it. If you're in settings and you go over here to themes, templates, and forms, you would click on forms. And this is where your forms live. So what we use, we have a couple different types of events that we do. We do mainly wedding. We do have rental clients. So we have a different form for our rental clients. We have packages, for lack of a better way to say it, called designer collections. And then we have a corporate social questionnaire. And the reason we have these different forms is because we need different information from these different types of clients. I also created a test form that we can kind of play around with today. But the biggest thing I wanted to show you is how to create a form. So what you would do is you go up to the top right here and click on your plus sign. Okay. And this is your form worksheet where you fill in all the information. If you need from time to time and go back and edit your forms, you can click into your form and change the information. Okay. Say you have a new website, or you want to collect new information, or you have a new type of event you're doing, or something like that. You can put that information on any of your forms or start a new form. One of the best ways to work with a form, we're going to work with this test form right here, is to preview it while you're doing it. So this was a test form that I put together. And if I want to see how a client's going to see it, I click on the little eyeball right here, and it shows me what the client's going to see when it's on the website. Okay. I'm going to go through a few of these different types of fields. Oh, one other thing before I do that, I wanted to show you is if you wanted to copy a form, all you have to do is click on one of these little copy buttons right here. And so if you have one form that you really like, but you want to build off that, you can create a form here, and you can say a copy of custom floral or whatever, and you can put with additional information about event design or whatever it is that the information that you want to collect. So I'm not going to make a copy, but let's go through a form and put in the information that you may or may not need. So you can customize these any way you want. The biggest thing I ask myself when creating a form is, who is our audience? Who do we want? Who's going to be filling out these forms, and what kind of information do we want from them? So right here, this is the name of the form. This does not show up for the client. This does show up for the client. This is the title of the form. Here's the preview of it. So it says title test form, but I will show you what our form looks like. Our title is "Tell Us About Your Event." Okay, so let me go back. So you can call this whatever you want. You can say, "Tell us about your event," or you can put in here wedding and event design, or you can put in here rentals, or whatever you want. Okay, the form description, a lot of people leave this blank. Basically what it is you can put further information about we leave it blank. You can put further information about your company or whatever, but that information would be right down here. And here it is right here, testing the description field. You can center this. You can put, we're a boutique, wedding and event design company, whatever you want in there. A lot of this, information that I'm going through today is also in our help files. So you can kind of see some examples in there of what has, of how other people have set up their forms. Okay. All right. So that's the description. If you want this displayed on your company page, you check this box. I always check the box. Our clients don't go through the company page to get to our forms, they go through our website, but I'll show you the company page later so you can see what I'm talking about there. If you have this checked, the form is inactive, it's not going to show up on your company page or on your website. Contact address fields for the contacts, we always check those as well. You can have 1 or 2 contacts. We typically go with 1. I'm going to show you ours real quick. Hang on 1 second. I'm going to open up a separate window for this. Let's see here. Bear with me. Settings, open link in new tab. Okay. The reason I want you to see ours is because I think a lot of people operate the same way we do rather than like these test fields, but we don't ask for bride and groom because sometimes it's bride and sometimes it's groom and groom. So in ours, what we'll do is, here's ours right here. We will put in 1 main point of contact, whoever that is, bride, mother of the bride, groom, or other. And then we ask down here in these free form entry fields, the bride/groom's name, just to, you know, be friendly to all different types of weddings, you know. Okay. So you can ask for 1 or 2. If you don't have the box checked, they're not going to show up. Also, if you don't have these fields filled in, there won't be a drop down. So right now I have these are the different options they can choose when they're filling out the form. So I'll show you main point of contact. So basically we have main point of contact. That's what I've called this field. And these are the options that we entered. You can enter, other options here. You can put in dog, cat, whatever. You can put whatever you want in there and hit save. When you come over here to the test form, which I need to refresh now, you can put here, you know, the main titles here, and then you can put everything else, you know, dad, groom, aunt, etc., dog, cat. Okay. So you can set this up however you like. Whether you have the boxes checked or not for phone number required, that's up to you. You know, so we require their phone number, but you can put as many in the drop down list as you want. Okay. So you can collect any kind of information you want. Same here. Now, these are all hard-coded fields here, which means basically they're in the system. You can't do much to alter them, but you can leave them out of the form. So if you don't want pre-wedding cocktail hour because that's not a thing for you, normally what's going to be here is ceremony or something like that, but you can hit delete, save, and that field disappears. Okay. So typically what people do here is they'll separate out, because there's a couple different locations, ceremony, reception. Okay. I'm going to hit save, and then I'm going to refresh this so you can see how that looks. So now we got 2 separate ones for ceremony and reception. Okay. And in here, if you put a Y here, it's going to use your venue drop-down list. Okay. So whatever you have in your settings, in your venues, it's going to pull from that. Same with reception. If you put a Y in there, it's going to pull the information. And the nice thing about these fields is these up here above they're all mapped fields. So this is information that'll go into the client profile in Trellis. Okay. Same thing here, although I don't think planner is a drop-down field, but right now, oh, yes, it is. Okay. So if you were to leave planner blank, save and refresh, wedding planner goes away. But if you work with a lot of wedding planners and you want that in there, You enter it in. Let's see here. I guess it doesn't give you the option to pull on the planner drop down. It just does it. So if you put a word in here, coordinator, planner, wedding coordinator, event designer, whatever, it'll pull on the drop down of the wedding planners. So I'll show you. Refresh. And we have a plethora of wedding planners we work with, so it pulls that drop down field into your form. Okay. Kind of skipped around a little bit. Okay, let me go back up here to your contacts. So you can freeform enter whatever you want these labels to be. You can call it main point of contact. You can call it bride. You can call this groom if you want. The reason we didn't do it like that is because we wanted to have a main point of contact, and often we are dealing with the mother of the bride. They are our main point of contact, and we want them to have the option to choose bride and bride, groom and groom, bride and groom. Okay, so we put that in our free form entry fields at the bottom. But you can also change the label. So right now you can see that I put the contact heading as bride and groom rather than main point of contact. If I hit refresh, oh, I didn't save it. Hang on. Save. If I hit refresh, it changes it to bride and groom. And if I want to change this right here, what role are you in this event? Because you would at this point, because you've labeled them yourself. You would change this to, you could either leave it blank and then the drop down goes away, or you could put in here bride. Let's look at this. Oops. Save. Okay. So I always, when I'm creating a new form, I have this preview window open so that I can refresh it and see what kind of information I'm collecting and see it as the client sees it. I was playing around a little bit, but you can also put a message up here. We're excited to learn more about your event. Complete the form and click submit to select a time, blah, blah, blah. You can put pictures in here. You can put emojis in here. I didn't know you could put emojis in here, but if you look at, where is that section? Form intro right here. So you can put this in any font you want. You can put images in here. You can do it however you want to do it. The other nice thing that's that it does is it also jumps to a field. Here, let me back up. Hang on one second. When they finish the form, it has kind of a closeout message where you can say whatever you want to say, like, we'll be with you in 48 hours, or we're excited to be a part of your event. We will follow up with you with a phone call, or whatever you want to say. And that goes right here. Thank you. We will be in touch. These are just some examples I put in here. Thank you. Click on the link below to schedule a consultation. Thank you. We'll send your designer collections estimate within 48 hours. So whatever message you want to put in there, and it could be different for every event type, every event form type that you have, you can do that. One of the things I'd like to show you right now is on our form that we use here for mainly weddings, is we put, thank you. Book a one-on-one call to discuss your wedding in more detail. So we don't want our clients to have to wait to hear from us to get on our calendar. We want to be able to get them booked on our calendar as soon as possible. So this completion URL shows up after they finish filling out the form, and it allows them to schedule an appointment with us right away. So that is something that I think is really cool about Trellis, is that, you don't have to have your client wait to hear from you. They can just, like, boom, get on your calendar. Okay, let me go back over here to the test form. Okay, so the other thing you can do throughout Trellis is make fields required or not. We actually don't collect a budget field because I feel like people feel cornered. I'm going to show you how much money you got. So you can make this required or not. You can make this a drop-down field. So let's just change this to something more friendly. Let's see here. We're going to say budget. Or you could say budget range. And you can make it a required field. And I lost where we can put in the drop down list for this, but I will get back and show you that in a sec. Let me see here. Budget range. Or you can leave it free form entry and let them just enter in a dollar amount if you want. We don't ask them. I'll show you ours. We do not ask them a budget range. This is ours. Because most of the time we feel like they do not know what they want to spend. We deal with a certain client level too, that if they want it, they're going to get it, you know? So instead of using the budget field, we created a free form entry field that allows them to tell us how important flowers are to them. Okay. We just did this year. It seems to be working pretty well. And we seem to be able to decipher where they are budget-wise based on some of the other questions we asked them in our form. So just to show you a couple different questions that we ask, different, free form entry fields that we enter into our forms, it's these below, okay? We put a field section in called event details, okay? And then we ask for bride/groom's name, bride/groom's name again, number of bridesmaids, number of groomsmen, guest count. And you can make any of these required or not just by using these check marks right here. Okay. We also make these non-required, but if they have the name of their Pinterest board, or if they have the name of their photographer or DJ or band, we love collecting all the information we can collect, but we don't make it required because we want them to be able to fill out the form quickly and get on our calendar, basically. But some of the things that we need to know about a wedding, and this is our wedding form, is these few numbers here. That's why we make these few required. So it's something you have to decide for yourself. You can enter in here drop-down lists. They're called select lists, and put in a list of your most commonly where people find you, best sources of advertising or marketing. We put that in there. You can create a brand new section, and I'll show you how to do that on the test form. So if you want to put in a new field, you just hit this plus button right here, and it can be let's see here. Field. It can be a section, and you can call this whatever you want. Other vendors we like or may use, whatever you want to do there. So this is going to be a section now. And then underneath this section, you might put photographer and make it a text area if you don't have, because we don't have a drop down list of just photographers. You can put in bakery and call it a text area, etc. And I'll show you what that looks like when you refresh. So they can enter in right here the name of the photographer, the name of the bakery, the name of the DJ, the band, whatever information you want to collect. If, like I said, if you want it to be a drop-down menu, you have to put all that information in there. But these fields below this line here, let me show you the line. Right here, this is free form entry. They are unmapped fields. Everything above this line maps to your Trellis client profile and will be captured. That data will be captured in that client's Trellis profile. Okay. All right, let's see here. Oh, another thing you can do if you want to, we do this, is with every single form type we have, we put the corresponding event type with it. So if it's wedding custom, we're going to set it at wedding custom. If we want the form to land on our progress new inquiry, that's where we're going to put it. If they already booked an appointment, well, we wouldn't know that, but you can set this to any progress label you want it. We usually leave it on new inquiry for everybody, but you want to do that so that, because especially if you have different types of forms, so that when their inquiry comes into Trellis, you know that this was a rental inquiry, this was a wedding custom inquiry, this was a fundraiser, whatever type of inquiry. So you want to select that. You don't have to, you can leave it blank, but it is kind of helpful. Let's see here. Oh, venues. That's the other part I want to go through. I think I already said that you can use the drop-down list, or you can let them freeform entry the name of their venue. So I'm going to show you that real quick. And any of these, if you leave these fields blank, will not be part of your form. So for instance, when we do a rental inquiry, we leave all these blank, because if somebody just wants to rent vases from us, we don't need their planner or anything like that. Let's hit save and refresh. Am I logged in? Let me see here. Bridegroom, ceremony, reception. Okay, so now reception no longer has a drop-down menu. It's just a free form entry field. But I did leave this linked to our venues. Now, the nice thing about this is they can either select one from here, or if they don't see their venue on here, they can still type it in. Okay. Again, if we change this back, venue to yes, and hit refresh, then they can select from the venue fields there. Okay. Okay. I think I've covered most of it. I just want to stress the difference between the mapped and the unmapped fields. Like a lot of people, mostly people will use these inquiry forms to gather information prior to the client coming in. And a lot of times our clients with these unmapped fields here, they won't fill this out because it's not required and they just want to get on the calendar. But if you want to use these forms after they have already booked, you can create a form. Let me hit cancel on this one. You can create a form that collects this information later on in your client process. So if you want to create a form and call it booked client information, and then they'll see the title, and you can call it additional information about your event. I won't worry about the typos, and we don't really need that at this point. You can leave a lot of this blank because you already have this stuff. And then you can add your custom fields down here just to send it to them after booking. I'm just probably going to throw an error. Let's call this okay. So if we preview this, this is something you can send to them to gather that information post-booking. Okay. So I'd love to hear how some of our other our other users use this to gather information, because I know some of them do. We haven't done it, but we should. That's about it on forms.